Good morning, everyone. How you doing? Hello, DC. Hello, DC, on this beautiful, almost fall morning. We're about to transition into another season in just a matter of days or hours. But thank God for the opportunity to be here this morning. Enjoy this weather, enjoy this sunshine, enjoy each other. Because while we're here for a stronger, more noble and glorious purpose, I just gotta say this. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got this wonderful feeling. LNG's going away. So on behalf of all of us from the Gulf South, on the Gulf Coast of Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, and points beyond, we'd like to thank you for coming here this morning because we're going to tell you a little bit about ourselves, what's going on, and why we are here at FERC, and why we stand in opposition to their continuing to approve projects which are basically harming our environment, harming the planet, and killing people, our friends, relatives, and neighbors in the Gulf South region. I have the privilege of being before you this morning to kind of start this off in MCA, so let me give you a little bit about me. I'm John Beard, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Port Arthur Community Action Network, an environmental, social justice, and community development organization in Port Arthur, Texas. And I'm joined here by other members from the Gulf South, from Corpus, Freeport, Brownsville, Texas, from Lake Charles, Louisiana, to St. James Parish, Louisiana, and all the other river parishes, and all points in between, from there to Florida. We're all here standing in solidarity and union to tell you about what's happening and why we have to stand up, fight back, push back against FERC, against this administration, against the big oil and gas companies, and all of those who would continue to harm our communities and our people and our way of life. The seas are rising because of climate change, but so are we. And we are here to stand and rise up and push back, not accept no for an answer, not accept the continuance of the continued approval of these various projects that are harming our world. So I'm going to turn this portion of the program over to one of my dear friends and sisters from down in the Corpus region. She is one of the directors of CHISPA. They do a lot of great work in the Gulf South and in the coastal bend region to help us in this fight. So now the next voice you hear will be that of Elida Castillo.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Elida Castillo, as John mentioned. I am the program director for CHISPA, Texas. I am also a frontline community member from Taft, Texas, which is located about 7 miles away from Corpus Christi LNG, aka Cheniere LNG. And we are here to demand that FERC stop approving these LNG projects, these fracked methane gas projects, because they do not support the public interest. It is not in our public interest to see our bills going up. Raise your hands if you've seen your bills go down in the past year. Raise your hand if you're paying less at the grocery store than what you were, a year ago, 2 years ago. Raise your hand if you were not impacted by climate change. What they are telling us is, can I say this? Bullshit. Every time we export, not only are we poisoning our water, we are seeing our bills go up, and FERC is not taking that into consideration. And these projects are signed for decades. So they are locking us into decades of contracts that aren't even benefiting our people. What we are being left with is pollution, health conditions where people are dying, cancers. Somebody told me earlier that they heard that the coast is called the carcinogenic coast. Who wants to live on the carcinogenic coast? And yet here's FERC who is ignoring our pleas, our demands, everything that we are bringing forward because they are saying that we need these LNG projects. I don't think so.
Just say no. No.
And then you have the Republicans in Congress trying to pass legislation, H.R. 1130, unlocking our domestic LNG potential. I'm sorry, but that level has been unlocked and we are failing.
Right.
We do not need to unlock our LNG potential because this is frack gas, it's methane gases, and it is increasing what we are experiencing every day in our communities. We are seeing more cancers, we are experiencing hotter days, and they're not historic anymore. This is our last cold day of the year for the rest of our lives. And so whenever they say we're helping our European allies, they are lying to us because we have letters from 54 European organizations who say they do not want LNG in their communities either. So I am so glad to be in unity with our brothers and sisters in this fight. I'm going to pass it to a community member from Gregory, Texas, where Corpus Christi Liquefaction, aka Cheniere LNG, is located, so she can talk to you about her experience as a community member here. Ms. Carmen Hernandez, take the floor. This is her first time ever speaking.
LNG is killing our little town. And the only thing I can think of is their implementation is death, sickness, and the horror that our planet is dying. FERC needs to stop giving these permissions. We need a better future for our children. Our little children are getting sick, and there's no help anywhere. We are cornered by 5-7 facilities around us. And it is just horrible that they want to say, oh, we're in production, it is for the better good. And our companies, our facilities create jobs. The only thing in the economy, the only thing that it's creating is disaster. Disaster and death. Their main motto should be, we produce DEATH. Our community is ceasing to exist. And there's a pattern everywhere. What does FERC not understand? Ugly pattern, death pattern. It is not a good thing. God gave us this planet to survive and make it good. And all they're doing is ceasing little communities to exist. Even the big communities have been impacted. But they don't care. There's no caring there. All they care is their pockets. The expansions need to stop. Foreigners are coming in here and being part of their CEOs, creating more disaster, more harm. As I said, their main goal of implementation should say, we are wanting to produce and implement more harm and more sickness so that we can keep on going. At one point, they're going to kill everybody. This planet is just going to go kaboom. Then where will they be? Where is their production? It is not good. You think about November the 2nd, that everybody celebrates the Day of the Dead. Well, they might as well say everybody that's impacted is celebrating the Day of the Dead 365 days of the year. That is not a good thing. Wake up. We need to wake them up. I am so proud to be band together with my brothers and sisters here who say, we care, and we are going to do something about it. And God willing, it is going to stop. It is going to stop. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Hilliard, and I am from Ingleside on the Bay. We are a very small community just right down the La Quinta Channel from Gregory, and we are one of the many small communities in which these facilities are being built. They build these facilities in these small communities that don't have a voice, that aren't organized. The small communities that are what make America great, that are unique and individual and care about their people and their families. But yet these huge facilities come in and they offer small little concessions, and we'll pave a road and we'll build you a volunteer fire department while they make billions and billions of dollars, not telling you about what they're doing to your air and what they're doing to the water in which all of the people within our community fish and live off of. They're destroying entire ecosystems and entire economies in terms of fishing and shrimping, all for another economy, a short-term economy, a fossil fuel economy that's destroying everything around us. So all of these little small towns, what's happening to us is now being felt worldwide. The huge cities are experiencing what we've experienced, and it's going to affect everybody. And we're here to let them know, to bring all of the small cities together, to bring all the voices together so that we can raise them up and try to get FERC to understand this cannot continue. We cannot expand this export of fossil fuels. They're exporting our natural resources and destroying our ecosystems so that we'll be left in a desolate wasteland while all of the world is just heating up, destroying communities so that these companies can make billions of dollars, and it's not fair. But most importantly, it's not fair, and we need to stop it. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Marion Rosen. I'm from the city of Freeport, Texas. I'd just like to say a few words. Number one, since 1979, we've been impacted by petrochemical plants. My community is surrounded by petrochemical plants. Our death rate is high in our city, and we have no accountability. When you have county leaders and city leaders in a poor county, poor cities, when these type of industries come in, they throw money at these people, and when there's a community that's poor, you know what all comes with that. Let's take the bribes and kickbacks. But we got to realize this impacts our children's future. My children was born with asthma, breathing problems. You know how it is when you have to rush to the hospital in the middle of the night when you see a child's stomach collapsing and they can't breathe. It happened to 4 of my kids, all of their lives, and they're grown now, and they still have these breathing problems. And now we have an LNG facility in Quintana Beach, which is Freeport LNG. It was put together so fast that the report states that the beads in the wells were separating. So FERC fined them. Okay, they give them a fine. LNG give $5,000 to a museum. But what about the health and the safety of the people that's impacted by the chemicals? I mean, you can sit here all day long and say, oh, it's in the air. No, we have to breathe this air. Every day you walk outside, you breathe in the air. Okay? There's an effect for everything. Just like there's a reaction for everything. There's a positive and negative. And at this point, the negative is winning on the Gulf Coast. The negative is winning for what? $1? Broken promises? President Biden lied to every single community on the Gulf Coast. We voted for him. Money over people. All the money gonna pass away. Money not going to the grave with you. None of this is going to the grave with you. But what you leave here is gonna stay here. So we gotta change this today. Today. Much as we stand here and protest, we speaking for our children and our grandchildren so they'll have a better future. And to first, stop pacifying us. Stop lying to us. Do your job and protect the citizens. Your oath was to do no harm. But you know that harm is done. It's all about the money. I thank you guys. You know one thing about Manning Roberson. I don't give up. I ain't giving up at all. Because see, there's a little girl named Jalen Roberson. She's 5 years old. And with Jalen Roberson, there will be a better planet. Because I'm not going to stop. Enough is enough.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gwendolyn Jones, and I'm humbly blessed to be here with all these great leaders who are fighting against climate change. I'm just so, this is emotional, it's personal. My family been in Freeport since the beginning of Freeport, and we built on the land of the sulfur plant. We had chemicals in the plant. The port was in the plant, the sulfur in the plant, Stafford chemical in the plant, Dow chemical right across the river. We are sick and tired. I am sick and tired of Joe Biden and Ferg and his administration who constantly lies to us. When I was born, my mother couldn't breathe. But when I was born, guess what? I can't breathe. I have asthma attacks. And they pick profits over human rights. When they look at a job, they look at the money. They say job and the economy is number one. What is a job without a life? When a person dies, they are dead. They don't come back again. Who in the world they think they are gonna put our lives in danger just for them to make money and then say that they're doing it for us? One illustration I want to do when George Floyd said, I can't breathe. Gwen said, I can't breathe. Biden, I can't breathe. DOE, I can't breathe. First, I can't breathe. Democratic Party, I can't breathe. This is what the American people say. They cannot breathe. They can't breathe. Why? Because the bottom line, you are killing us. So quit your lying. Quit your propaganda. And stop these permits, because we're going to continue to fight and continue to talk. And because Jack is out the box, we're not going back in.
Thank you, Miss Gwen. Thank you very much. You're right. We can't breathe. And without breath, there is no life. People like to talk about, since we've had this great heat wave, about, water, rivers, lakes, and streams drying up. But you stop breathing and see how long you last. You need air, first and foremost, and you need clean air to survive. Manning Roberson was right, because his grandchildren and their children's children will not have a livable planet, will not have somewhere where they can cherish and pass on to their ancestors and their relatives and others. They will not have a future. But we're here fighting for that future, here and now. The next voice you'll hear will be coming from Louisiana, my dear sister just right down the way, in the great city of Lake Charles. So I'm going to pass this over to Miss Deborah Ramirez.
I'm Deborah Ramirez, and I want FERC to know that I'm mad, and I'm mad as hell. My whole family have been killed up behind federal government not coming in, doing what they were supposed to do and keeping secrets for these big corporate oil and gas industries. There is not enough toilet paper to clean up y'all shit. And I want you all to know today that I'm going to continue to fight until I can't fight no more. At my last breath. When I stand in the graveyard, the doggone, I almost said damn, the damn plant is behind the people who are dead in the graveyard that can't even escape it. And then you mess up my whole community of Mossville, Louisiana, and think that you did something by trying to shut me up and set me down and keep microphones and everything else from my hands from speaking. But I'm going to tell you, I'm here. I ain't dead yet, like my mother said. I ain't dead yet. And I'm going to fight you until the end, until you apologize to my community, until you rebuild my community, until you give everything that you took away from us back in Mossville, Louisiana. Y'all can go back to the pits of hell from which you come. You can keep on serving Satan, but I'm here to tell you, God is going to win this battle, and I'm going to help him as long as he uses me to win this battle. For my people of Mossville, Louisiana, there are other people here to talk for other communities, but I am a person of a compassionate heart, and I am compassionate about every community. My Port Arthur, Texas people, my Beaumont, Texas people, my Houston, Texas people, my Mississippi people, everybody in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas. I am for my people, not for FERC, not for the government who sets up and come to communities and set up all their paperwork like they're going to help, and they don't do a damn thing. They don't do it. They promised us what they were going to do. FERC promised us that they were going to come back and help us and give us some money. I don't need a damn 501c3 to help have them come in and fix up what they messed up. You all are going to come because I'm going to keep on praying, and God going to keep on punishing America until America does what it's supposed to do. Give us, we the people, justice.
I can't thank God enough for me being here. I've been with fighting against industry and environmental issues and all unjust issues for 40 years of my life. And this is the first time that I have really been able to come together with all people that's fighting for this cause. I got a message to give you, you government, President Biden, FERC, federal government, whoever. We are sick and tired of you all destroying us. My message is from Jesus Christ today. He said he did not hang on that cross for us to be destroyed. He said it is his will for all man, all humanity to prosper and be in good health. And you got to remember the word of God. You're not God. And you was not going to destroy this world, because we're going to stand against you with all the prayers and the power of God. And you're not going to continue destroying us with these fossil fuels and methane and all this stuff y'all doing, and then you go come and tell us you have such a thing in place such as carbon capture. That's a joke. You're trying to tell us that to keep us from fighting you, but we are going to fight with all our might. In the name of Jesus, you will not win. And today and to now, you better make the decision to get rid of all the destruction that you are doing to this earth. Remember one thing, that Jesus is coming back.
Amen. Amen.
Good morning, y'all. This is a special moment, not only in time and history. My name is Paul Geary. I'm from Lake Charles, 32 miles from Texas border. This is not only an honor, it's a privilege to be across the world. The world is with us right now. The world is with us. And you know, I looked at the mission statement of FERC. It's supposed to be reliable, economic, safe. There's none of the above. None of the above. The God dang it. Look here, man. The government, what I can tell about democracy, I haven't seen democracy in 67 years. I haven't seen democracy, what they call democracy. But I'm going to tell you now, even though I ain't free, I'm going to do what a free man's supposed to do. I don't care who don't like it. But here we got a dilemma. And historically, our government has failed us. They got a track record of this, time after time. They went with our brothers that hold this land dear. How many treaties they done broke? How many treaties they done broke with our brothers that's with us now? They out here, everyone. They gave us the vote, now they're trying to take it back. What is we dealing with? We in here to walk the offices of power. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm tired of being collateral damage. They say sacrifice. I call they using us for collateral damage. We getting friendly fire, y'all. Our own government. Lord, hey, I'm like y'all, the mighty, mighty Gulf. The mighty, mighty Gulf where you speaking to now, but you're speaking to the world now. With all the moons, the stars is on balance. The universe will make justice balance back. It gonna force it back. We here to help it. And in closing, thank y'all for being here. Thank God for all y'all.
Thank you very much, Brother Paul. Before we go a little bit further, I gotta explain this little bird that's sitting on the podium here, sharing the podium with me. His name is Venture Global. But because Venture Global is so predatory in its actions toward the people of the Gulf South in the Calcasieu Parish area and the coastal parishes of Louisiana, they are better known now as Vulture Global because they're picking over the bones and carcasses of our people in the Gulf South. And they're not the only ones. All of those LNG companies, and there are too many to name right off, but all of them are predatory and preying on the lives and health of people. Now, the next voice you hear will be that of Voishetta Sibley Ozane, who is the founder and director of the Venture, my goodness, excuse me, not Vulture Capital, who is the founder and director of the Vessel Project in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Come on, Voishetta.
Thank you, John. I'm going to let James introduce himself. Since John introduced me.
I'm James Hyatt. I'm from Lake Charles. For a Better Bayou is an organization we started. And it's because of these LNG facilities in southwest Louisiana. Currently, there's 8 exporting terminals in the country, and 3 of them are in southwest Louisiana. Southwest Louisiana comprises of Cameron and Calcasieu parishes. We're home to refineries and petrochems and decades of oversaturation and pollution that's caused significant premature death and suffering on the backs of the people who live there. And now they're continuing to try to place more and more of these LNG facilities. So like John said, we made this Vulture for Vulture Global, who's trying to put 4 facilities in Louisiana. One of them, who has been constructed since January of last year, has not stopped flaring since they built it, has received $184 million in tax evasion for 2022 alone. $184 million taken out of the pockets of schools, drainage, roads, libraries, in a place that was struck by natural disasters. It's just ridiculous. How can we continue to put money over people? There's no reason to continue to allow corporations to profit and to let the federal government work on behalf of the corporations and not the people. We can't afford to continue down this place. The price of electricity goes up as we export more of this gas. It doesn't only affect the people on the front lines, it affects every person in America who pays for goods or electricity. And that means it's you. So building out LNG is bad for you. It's bad for the environment. It's bad for the people who they're displacing, who they're forcing out. It's bad for the fishermen. There's not a single reason why. There's no facts that line up that say the cost-benefit analysis of these LNGs is not in the public interest. It is actually against the public interest and against moving us towards something that is sustainable and a just transition. I'm sorry, you asked me to introduce myself and I went off.
That's all right.
My bad.
That's all right.
That's okay. I'm happy that James went before me and gave y'all all those facts. Because when I was invited to come here for this Frontlines to FERC, I wasn't coming because honestly, fuck FERC and the president. I have no faith in FERC doing anything because FERC is going to continue to approve and hand out permits as long as Biden sits his cowardly self in office and does not declare a climate emergency. FERC can only do what the president allows them to do. He's hiding behind FERC. He wants us to attack FERC. He wants us to attack DOE. But if he declares a climate emergency and he's of all new fossil fuel infrastructure, then FERC will not be able to issue out permits. But what I came for more so is to represent all of the coalitions that we are a part of. The Permian Gulf Coast Coalition, the People versus Fossil Fuels Coalition, the Break Free from Plastics Coalition, and so many others. Because when you see us standing at these podiums, and you see us on Act TV, and you see us on Instagram or wherever we are, and you may see only a handful of us, I want you to know that Sunday, we showed you that we have hundreds of thousands of people behind us. On Sunday, we had almost 100,000 people marching to end fossil fuels. But that's what you saw in New York City. We also had actions in over 600 countries. We had actions on every single continent. They want to divide our fights. They want us to fight against each other. A lot of us like to forget that it's a collective fight, and we want to be the one out front, and we forget about all of those behind us. So I like the fact that John made sure people who weren't on the program got up here and spoke. So many times our words are shortened because we're under a time limit. We're on a time limit living in these communities because any day any of us could die from the cancer that these industries are causing us. So when we get a platform, we take over it. We see the time cards being waived. We understand the time constraints. But people have come from so far to say that enough is enough. They didn't really come here thinking FERC was going to do anything beneficial today. They came here to show solidarity, to show up for each other, to speak for their communities, because so many wanted to come that couldn't be here. So many have fought and have died before they got the opportunity to be here. Thank God Ms. Deborah is still here. Thank God for people like Alyssa who's come to make sure that Ms. Deborah is okay, but to also fight for her community. Alyssa has not left Ms. Deborah's side. She has made sure she was okay when Ms. Deborah got arrested, Alyssa got arrested. Alyssa can speak just as eloquently as any of us. It's so many people that's being impacted and affected. And no, not everyone wants to speak. Some people want to stand in the background like Alyssa and make sure Ms. Deborah gets around in her wheelchair. But we need her as well. We need everyone, because one thing you cannot do is box up air. You cannot separate the water. When we're talking about this crisis and we're looking at environmental justice and climate justice, we like to use those terms interchangeably, but they are two different things. When we're talking about environmental justice, we're talking about our individual communities, including our bodies, what we can touch, what we can feel, the air we breathe, the water we drink. The climate is combined of all of our individual communities, all of our individual environments. And so until we start working together and you start seeing people showing up like this and what you saw on Sunday, we're never going to win. This is how we win. We continue to build people power. We continue to show up. We continue to allow people to have a platform and a voice. We make sure that people are supported and have the resources that they need so that we can build them up in the communities so they can fight for themselves because they don't need representation. They don't need FERC. They can fight against those industries because if FERC approves them, and we have 100,000 people standing on their land and say, I'll be damned if you build something here, how they gonna build it? We're gonna stand together, and that's the reason why I'm here today. I have absolutely zero faith in FERC, and they know that. I call them by name, I call them out all the time. I have no faith in this administration at all. I'm hoping that they get it together. Woo-hoo for a climate court, woo-hoo for IRA, but we know that everything that they give us, it still pushes us back because they did not consult with the communities, and it's not what we need and what we want. Start coming to our communities and talking to us, building us up, and giving us the things that we need to thrive. Thank you.
Let me hear you say, the people united shall never be divided. The people united can never be divided. The people united can never be divided. The people united can never be divided. Thank you, Rochetta. Thank you, James. Next voice we're going to hear is one of my dear friends and sisters from the river pastures of Louisiana, from St. James in the heart of Cancer Alley. Your leader mentioned earlier that we no longer have to name the Gulf Coast. We're the Cancer Coast, and she's 100% right. Because there's nothing but cancer clusters all up and down that Gulf South portion of the United States Gulf Coast. So the next voice you hear will be that of Goldman Prize winner Sharon Levine.
Thank you, John. Good morning, everyone. Sharon Levine. I'm back. Just like John said, I'm from St. James, Louisiana, and I live in the heart of Cancer Alley. How would you like for your home to be called Cancer Alley? I know I don't. I'm so tired of these people destroying Mother Earth. Mother Earth is crying. She wants us to stop, to save this planet. Our politicians and lawmakers, they don't want to save this planet, let alone they don't want to save our lives. I'm tired of going to funerals, at least one funeral every week. Sometimes we have 2 funerals a week. Sometimes we have 3 funerals a week, and it's all cancer. Our children have cancer. We have women that become pregnant and they have miscarriages often. We have women that have babies and they're preemies. What do we have to do to get these people to listen to us and to stop polluting us, stop making us sick, stop giving us asthma, stop poisoning us? Our air is so polluted. When you go outside, you can get a whiff of those chemicals, sometimes ammonia, and it's overwhelming. Some areas you might pass by in the air, you have to close your mouth. You can't leave it open because the chemicals go down in your throat, and your throat get irritated. So many people in St. James and throughout Cancer Alley have had ear infections, sinus problems, so many problems. My friend Matt, we just buried him. I wasn't there when the funeral happened, but he had stage 4 bone cancer. So many people, when they find out they have cancer, is in the 3rd or 4th stages. I have 2 brothers with prostate cancer. Thank God they are still here by the grace of God. They both work in the industry. They can't enjoy their retirement. They are sick. So many other people retire and they can't enjoy their retirement. Some people might retire and last a few months and they die when they find out they have cancer. These plants are killing us. The workers in the plant don't realize how bad it is. The workers in the plant talked to us and told us that they have to pay their bills, they have to feed their family. I understand that. These plants do not give them the correct gears to wear when they're working in the plant. And I know that because I have relatives that works in the plants. They tried to portray us, Rise St. James, as the haters of people in the plant, the people that's working in the plant. All we say is, we know you have to make a living, but don't let these plants kill you in the process of you working there. Yes. The industry don't care about you. All they want you to do is work. I had a friend that his name was Bo Dilly, that's what we call him, nickname. And he was working down in the bottom down there when the authorities would not work in that part because it was dangerous, and he died. He didn't even get to retire because he died from cancer. How many more people have to die because of these industries, because of our politicians? They come to St. James and they think that we are ignorant, and they talk to our politicians. Every last one of our politicians are in the pockets of industry. Yes. If we hadn't formed this organization in 2018, Formosa Plastics would have been built 2 miles from my home. I told Formosa, this is the stop. You will not be built 2 miles from my home. You will not be built 1 mile from an elementary school where our babies go to school. You will not be built 1 mile from a church. Formosa thought we were playing. They will not speak to us. They speak to the politicians. We asked for a meeting with them. They will not meet with us. We asked for a meeting with our governor. He will not meet with us. The politicians, we have 7 council members in St. James Parish. Not one stand up with Rise St. James. Not one. When their family gets sick, have cancer, going on dialysis, what are they going to do? They're going to continue to poison us? They're going to allow these people to come into St. James and fill their pockets while we get sick and we die. I pray and I ask God to let me live to see these industries that's poisoning us be shut down. Because they will not follow the law. They pretend like they follow the law. They will not pollute us, they say. Let us go inside the industry and evaluate these people. And you will see the discrepancies that's going on in these industries. We ask them to let us do the job that they are not doing. Train us to go into the industry and evaluate them. And I know one thing, we will shut them down. Teach us, train us, let us be the ones. And one other thing, why do we need people to represent us when they represent the industry? Let's vote them out. Let's change the laws where we don't need them. We can vote for things that we want in our parish because the politicians are not with us. Industry come in here, they talk to the politicians, they will not talk to the citizens of that area. You want to put a plant 2 miles from my home, come talk to me. Come talk to my neighbors. Why are you talking to the politicians? And they come in here, people, ministers, say they are not for the industry. When they get through offering them money, that tune changes. Oh, so many of our politicians, so many of our ministers. When I first started doing this in 2018, I called the ministers and asked them if I could meet with them, me and my organization, and explain to them what's going on. The day of the meeting, they call and say, I have to take my wife to the doctor. Your wife is not going to stay at the doctor all day. So they will not meet with us. This other industry is called DG Fuels. They make jet fuels. They want to come to St. James and build within a 10-mile radius of my home. We told him no. He said the politicians said we could come. I said, but you have to go through Rise St. James. We live here. We live here. The politicians are in the pockets of your industry. He said all of them said yes, they can come in. When he spoke to us, my members were on the phone crying and telling him, no, we don't want you here. You cannot come here. My little girl have asthma. My son have asthma, they told the man. His name was Michael Dorsey. He's adamant about coming to St. James. Not as long as Rise St. James is here. I can promise you that. He will not come to St. James. We are full. We don't need anymore. We need to cut down on these debts. The funeral director said he never seen so many people dying of cancer in all of his years of working. My friend died with cancer. She kept it a secret from me. The funeral home director told me she had cancer. She didn't want to tell me. She lost weight. That was my good friend. So how many of my friends and my community members and my family have to die because of greed? They want profit over people. We are nothing to them. But we have to stand together, we have to work together, and we have to show them that they will not come in our communities anymore. If you need help, call Rise St. James, and we'll be right there to help you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Okay, before we have our next set of speakers and move toward the closing of our presentation here, just want to remind you to look around yourself and see all of us who are here. To your left and to your right. This is what democracy looks like. Repeat after me. This is what democracy looks like.
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 Democracy is about all of us standing together of one accord and one will against those who would oppress each and every one of us for Justice Sharon and Justice what Sharon said. The almighty dollar. They would forsake us and our lives and our children's lives and our futures for the almighty dollar. And we have to say no. It stops here and it stops now. This is what democracy looks like. The next voice you're going to hear will be from a representative of the Carrizo-Comecrudo tribe of Texas. And I'm going to ask my dear friend and sister to come forward. Thank you.
Greetings, relatives and blood relatives. My name is Krista Mencius. I am the executive director for the Carrizo-Comecrudo tribe of Texas. Let me start off by saying, 1,000 years ago, my people prophesied of what is happening in the Gulf. It is written on the walls and canyons in Texas, in what you call Texas. I call the lands of Somisek, the lands of the people. That history is being erased by extractive industry. They're not reaping the benefits from Mother Earth. They are raping the benefits from Mother Earth. They are destroying the water, the air, and the land, and us as human beings. It is our right to have those, to live and breathe and drink clean water, to eat good food without being poisoned and poisoning our bodies and poisoning our children's bodies. It is our human right on this earth to be able to have those things. And extractive industry in every way, shape, and form is coming to our communities. It is reaching through pipelines, fracking flares, LNG terminals, and petrochemical plants. There is no reason for these things to continue to happen. Fossil fuels is bad business. It is bad business for everyone on this planet. 7 generations ago, our ancestors gave y'all a warning. They warned y'all that one day we would rise up, that the indigenous people would come together from all nations of the Americas, North, Central, and South. But we would be bringing a stronger power. We would be bringing the people that you stole from their homelands to come over here to work for you, and you you destroyed their identities of people of who they were, and we would have your ancestors, your future relatives with us. And this is what it looks like. You see all these communities of different colors. 7 generations ago, our ancestors warned you that we would rise. Sunday, we stood together, over 1,000 of us, from all over the world, to march to end fossil fuels. And we're telling these stories are not going to die. We're going to continue to let you know that we are coming for you. We are going to shut you down because Mother Earth is sacred to us. Not just in my homelands, not in just their communities, but all over the world. Thank you.
Next speaker we'll have come forward. We're going to move back more to the east, to the west now, toward the Permian Basin, an area that's being exploited, just as you've heard, with new pipelines and new infrastructure. So to tell us about that will be Lori Simmons. Lori?
Thank you. My name is Lori Simmons. I came from far west Texas. It took about a 3-hour drive, 2 planes, I don't know how many Ubers, over 50 miles walked this week, and I don't even know how many subway trains to get here. I represent the community of Van Horn. We have a project that's 0.1 miles from a community that's low income and Spanish speaking. For those who don't know what 0.1 miles is, it's the distance between these 2 buildings right here. We have a high pressurized natural gas line that's going to go in right next to where people live in the city of Van Horn. We're sick of this shit. You're tearing up our state. We're tired of saying this over and over and over. We have a right to be here. We have a right to have clean air. We have a right to have clean water. And we have a right for our kids to play outside without getting sick and our elders not getting cancer. We're tired of this shit in Texas. We want it clean and we want it stopped now. Thank you. And by the way, I have all these letters from Van Horn. We're sick of it. Enough's enough. We're done.
Thank you very much, Lori. She's right. Enough is enough. Enough is too much. We've had too much already. Now, I want you all to do a little something with me right quick as we get ready to close our show. I want you to put your hands together and clap. The next voice that you will hear will be from our sister, Mayuna Youssef. Come on.
Halito. I'm super excited to be here. I've been deeply moved by everyone's stories here today. The sister from Frontline Safert reached out to me on Instagram, and when I heard everyone's story, I was like, hell yeah, I'm coming. Let's do this. I'm a part of the Recording Academy. I represent artists who are looking to understand what's happening in our communities. We created an award called Best Song for Social Change to be able to give voice to these issues, to give a bigger platform through music to get to the masses. So I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to encourage all the artists that I'm working with in the Recording Academy to also do our part to lift up these stories and to give voices, you know, to raise the awareness about these issues. So I have my good brother Ajane here. We're going to perform a song called State of Emergency. Yeah. It's a state of emergency. Oh, this is a state of emergency. Seems like our sin set the skies ablaze, the color of river lake, pretty to see, but so hard to breathe. Scary back. backdrop of a movie scene, a sketchy caption that no one bothers to read, taking for granted what we really need. But the world is waking up, no time for the politics, cause we can't lose focus, feeling so hopeless. All this been broken, it needs to be fixed. Sign of the times is coming quick, and we're calling on the government now. This is a state of emergency. Don't scroll by, show some urgency. If we don't act now, it'll be too late. We can't let these bald heads determine our fate. This is a state of emergency. Don't scroll by, show some urgency. If we don't act now, it'll be too late. We can't let these bald heads determine our fate. All around the world, the rivers running dry, and at the same time, hurricanes and floods are at an all-time high. Something ain't right, somebody's lying, cause these men in suits keep playing God, seeding the clouds, causing fire and drought. All of this calamity for corporate greed. Are we willing to die, cause we losing hope? This ain't a hoax, it's out of control, and it needs to be fixed. Sign of the times is coming quick, and we can't wait on the government. Show some urgency. If we don't act now, it'll be too late. We can't let these bald heads determine our fate. This is a state of emergency. Don't scroll by, show some urgency. If we don't act now, it'll be too late. We can't let these bald heads steal our fate. Oh, this is everybody's problem. Oh, this is everybody's problem. Oh, this is everybody's problem. Yeah, everybody's problem. We got to solve them. A state of emergency. Don't scroll by, show some urgency. Don't act now, it'll be too late. We can't let these fascists seal our fate. This is a state of emergency. Don't scroll by, show some urgency. Don't act now, it'll be too late. We can't let these bald heads determine our fate. This is, a state of emergency. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Now that don't get you fired up and let you know that it's really and truly a state of emergency. The planet's on fire, but we're on fire too. And we're not going to let this rally end just here. We're getting ready to go inside the offices here of FERC to their general meeting. We're going to stand there and be a presence. And there'll be opportunity, hopefully, where you get a chance to maybe speak to some of those folks, but let them know what you think and what you feel. Let them know that we are here. And if we're going to take the fight to you, we're going to bring the front lines to FERC. We're going to bring the power from the people to those people. And we're going to make them know that enough is enough. No more sacrifice zones. No more harming our lives and health. No more stealing our future. No more raping and pillaging the planet and its natural resources. We are going to fight back, and we will win. So we're here to serve notice and let you know that it's on. It's on like hot buttered popcorn, as a friend of mine used to say. So let's get ready. Let's go inside. I want to thank you wonderful people for being here this morning on this glorious morning. Let's stay together, stick together, work together, cry together, pray together, and win together. Thank you.